So here we are. We are now on live, you guys. I had to make sure that we were actually they could see it on Facebook because they had us on private. So can everybody hear everybody? You can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, I
Okay,
can hear
perfect.
you. Hmm.
Okay, so when we talk, when another person is talking, we'll just mute out, okay? So welcome to the new Soljet Healing Community panel. I just like y'all to go ahead and just go around and introduce yourself. We can start with Black Esmeralda. You can just tell people who you are and what you do. And yeah.
Hey, greetings. So, my actual name is Lita, and I am the founder of Herbal Roots Wellness. It's a spiritual wellness business, magical and spiritual remedies for the mind, body, and spirit. Right now, I'm from the Bay, but currently I'm in Sacramento. Just chilling here for now.
Okay, cool. And she said her name was Lita. The phone kind of cut out. Okay. So we'll pass it now to Ayana.
Hey, so my name is Ayana. I'm from Oakland, California. I currently reside in Vacaville for the past few years. I'm a mom first, servant leader. I don't know what else to say. I don't really have a business or anything like that. And congratulations to you for yours. It sounds like a lovely business.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. And I'm happy to be a part of this panel. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
You don't have, you're welcome, both of you guys. I'm happy to have you here. You don't have to have a business. You're stellar in the work that you do. And that's still a possibility. It's never too late. I'm going to go ahead and pass that mic to Ant now.
Hello, I'm Ant Antonio. I'm a visual artist not from, in Atlanta. Originally from the Bahamas, but I grew up in Miami. And yeah, I'm glad to be here and take part in this conversation tonight.
Cool. Glad to have you here. So, you guys, this build, you already know what it's about, but just for the audience, we're going to build on, and this was actually, I want to give a shout out to Murad Muhammad, brother Murad Muhammad, and he was the one that suggested that we do this title. And I thought that was this topic, excuse me. I thought that was amazing because he's a man. He's an Aries. Shout out to the Aries out there. We're in Aries season right now. And the question is, what can we heal? No, first, can we heal the relationship between black men and not can we? What would it take? Because we can if we want to. So, what would it take on both sides for us to heal the relationship between black male and black woman? Okay. So, if you guys have any other questions that you want to have after we formulate this the break, just the opening of it. I'm gonna let Ant start because he's the only male. And tonight we have three queens and a king. So I'm gonna let the kings just start and first off, the first question is what do you guys think is the problem? The major. We can't do a whole biography, but what do you think is the number one problem between black man and black woman?
Um, well, I, I would say it's systematic. You know what I'm saying? It's systematic. It's something that's been put in place, and we're just living out the results of that system that was put in place. You know, um, and it happened in a way where it's now just regular. It's a part of it's normal. You know what I'm saying? And until we actually look at it, until we understand that it's a system that's got us separated the way that we are, we won't be able to, fix it.
Yeah, thank you. That's powerful. Black Esmeralda, what would you like to add to that? You're so funny.
Well, I would say, repeat the question again.
I know why you laughing because Black Esmeralda, you're not used to hearing that on live. So it's what do you think? what is your take on the number one issue between black men and black women? And just be honest, however you
Um,
feel.
I don't even know if I could just say one, but I would say,
You can say two if you can't just think of one.
okay, I would say accountability, integrity, and communication. And the
Okay.
fact, well, here's another one. The fact that I think when people become a certain age, even though childhood traumas are real and they do exist, I feel like when people become a certain age, they have to take responsibility for their own healing, and also realizing that some things are generational and some things are spiritual as well. So yeah, to start there, yeah.
Thank you. That's beautiful. I like that
Hmm.
answer as well. And Ayana.
And I agree. I think everything also starts with self and healing yourself. I think, once you heal yourself, or start yourself on that journey and are self aware, then, you can kind of take a look at yourself and see maybe where you know, need to heal or need to reflect and correct, on an individual basis to bring something healthy to someone else and vice versa.
Okay, so and for me, I would also say I would agree with all of what you guys said, because all of that is the truth. You know, I'm not gonna preach, so I'm just gonna say this. I think the accountability part is definitely big, because we know now. Sometimes we didn't have the healing tools. A lot of the things, like going back to Aunt saying from the beginning, we just were surviving and being in survival mode. Sometimes we don't have time to um, process maybe the pain, because you're just surviving, and not considering, not even knowing, like stuff like gaslight. I didn't know, and and these certain terms that just came into our communities, like, we would hear, white people will say it all the time, you're such a narcissist. But I mean, we didn't really know the depths of different things, and we would just say funny style, or he, you sometimey, little things that we say in our community, little words we say, or he's y'all know. But so the next thing would be and just you could just do it in one word. Were your house led, were your house led by maternal or paternal power? Starting with Ayana.
So mine was maternal. My father is from LA and my mother is from Oakland. So they parted when I was probably like 2 years old. But I used to see him in the summer times. But he was also part of the system. He got caught up in the system. He was in and out of prison. So my mom always also protected him. She never told me where he was. He would always call, and, when he was out, he would take me out to LA and I would spend the summers with him and his family. So I don't know how someone would constitute that. I do know both of my parents, and I do know that they both love me, but it was primarily my
Ashe. Mhm.
dad that raised me.
Okay. Um, and and I guess that's for everyone too. Do you think the maternal energy impacted the way you relate in relationships, whether that's good or bad? And were there other males around you, like uncles and cousins and things, that also may have shaped the way you relate, um, with the genders within relationships?
That's an excellent question because it absolutely did. Like watching my mother, it taught me what not to do. Watching my brothers taught me what to look out for. Seeing how my father was, like, he wasn't promiscuous. He had like one girlfriend or whatnot, but he liked to flirt. He was a very handsome man, tall, dark, lovely, just a beautiful smile. Like he was just a gorgeous man. So, I'm more of an observer. So, I kind of just looked at everyone in my environment and kind of put together for me what was kind of beneficial for me for what I thought it was. But, some of that had to, come into my relationships. Like we've been cheated on, we've been in toxic relationships, and things of that nature. And I couldn't tell you if it stemmed from what I saw or if it was I don't know, maybe something that I needed to go through just to kind of take a look and experience it and kind of get through it.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Some of us go through some of the things that we do in relationships.
Hmm. And Lita, the same question. Thank you, Ayana.
I would say maternal, to no fault of my mom's, because my dad died 2 months before I was born in Vietnam, actually.
Wow. Sorry to hear
So,
that. Yeah.
so I never got to meet him. I've seen pictures and stuff like that. But I was raised in a mostly maternal household. My mom did remarry. Um, that wasn't a bad experience for me. It was pretty cool. What else? I was raised a lot by my grandmother and my grandfather. I would go spend summers in the country with them. Um,
What
yeah,
country? You up in? Is it still in California or down south?
like Stockton, California.
Oh yeah, that's the country for us for
Like
sure.
I remember, like my grandmother at the time, it didn't have any sidewalks. It was dirt road, and we used to go down to the creek to fish and go swimming, hop the fence when the pool was closed. That was dangerous. Like we did some stuff. I mean, I knew how to swim or at least dog paddle, but that was still kind of dangerous. But
Yeah, dangerous living. So do you
yeah.
say that it shaped you in did you have like a lot of male cousins and uncles around you, or was it mostly?
I had a lot of male cousins, uncle, my grandfather. It kind of shaped me in the way that I just saw how some family members treated their wives. So at a young age, I was like, I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to do that. I think I said I'm never going to have kids. I'm never going to get married, which I actually ended up doing both. But I would just say I was a little guarded, just from some of the things that I've seen and just how some family members really tried to control others, and I was like, ain't nobody ever gonna control me. And so I
Yeah, I
think I
hear
might have
you.
went to the extreme a little bit. But even though I feel like that is part of my nature, but things that I've seen, they kind of shape you. So
What
I wouldn't
about growing
say,
up in Oakland? And that, I mean, both of y'all can answer that, but what about growing up in Oakland and the way the males are, just there every day, East Oakland, West Oakland, Swizax?
I don't know. I think my mom tried to shelter me a little bit, but I still got out and about.
What about
But
you? Oh, after Lita, Ayana, take that question real quick. Just
oh
open.
yeah, yeah. No, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was outside. We're outside.
You was outside. Okay. Okay, so Antonio, the same question, maternal or paternal leadership or both, and how did it shape, the way you relate in your relationships or with, with the gender, opposite gender?
Um, I would say maternal. Um, my father, he was in my life his whole life, right? The first half of my life, he was in the home, and then my mom and my dad, they separated. So, my mother, she raised me mostly. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think that, growing up with my mom, five sisters, you know, I didn't, it gave me a different way of looking at women than most other men. You know what I'm saying? Most other boys and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because I live with a lot of women, so
Hmm.
you know, I had like a different understanding of, you know,
The ranges of
what,
emotion.
or what, basically what they wanted versus what we think women wanted. You know what I'm saying?
That would be
So,
interesting to know. That would be really interesting to what we want versus what we think men want and vice versa. Wouldn't that be something to be able to see inside? Because we sometimes are totally off with that,
right,
So
right, yeah,
yeah. So that's interesting. Okay. Did you I didn't mean to cut you. I just wanted to comment on that, but if you had to, you could finish.
yeah. Me, I really didn't date as much because, you know, especially like go in high school and stuff, because I saw how like, most boys they interacted with women, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I just wasn't like on that vibe. So, I didn't do a lot of dating until I was like in my 20s and up, you know.
Okay. So Lita made an interesting point, and I think we got a comment here, but in the private chat. Oh, okay, that's Esmeralda. Okay. So let's see. I think she had maybe got kicked off. Let me put her back on. Give me one moment, you guys. Oh no, you still on there. Okay. So someone spoke about accountability. Um and I know we've been through a lot and things like that. But do you guys think being in the age we're in now? Okay, first off, what is your experience now? How do you see the dating scene? Um Most of us are single, right? Like as far as not married. I'm not married,
Yeah.
but the point is how has the experience been with that? Is it something where you feel more discouraged to marry now and just the way times are, or do you feel like there's still hope?
I'm gonna let you take. Go ahead.
Um, so I was married for 10 years.
Hmm.
Um, and even before I got married, right, I was in
Hmm.
a long-term relationship that ended bad. But the thing about it is that I had learned so much in the relationship, I didn't want to give up on it.
Hmm.
But after, my marriage experience, I was like, F it. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Hmm.
done.
Hmm.
But you
Would you
know,
do it
it,
again?
I probably would if I find the right partner. You know what I'm saying? It's like I feel like the dating scene it can be a little messy, but if you know what you want, and if you and if you're patient, and if look for that person that that checks off them boxes, it can't, it's not that bad, and um it's good to meet people, and find out when you're meeting people, you're actually learning more about yourself as well. So
Good
um
point.
yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, it can be messy, but it's like, it's gonna make you it's gonna help you out in the long run if you want to be in a relationship.
Yeah, it can get messy. What's your experience, Ayana?
Well, I'm single, and I've been single for a few years, but I've been focused on my family. I'm very happy. I'm very content. I have peace in my life. I have my career. So my focus has been mainly on my children and not on any type of romantic relationship or partnership or dating, even at that. So,
Okay. So are you open for marriage again?
if it's the right person, uh,
Hmm.
I
What do
would.
you tend to run into? I'm gonna take it a notch up. I don't want Ant to be in the hot seat, so I'm gonna bring it to the women because we got a lot to say about things. What do you tend to run? Look, Lita then came back, Black Esmeralda then came back on the screen. What do you tend to run into in this new era of dating? Because it did change. The 80s and the 90s is way different than you know. I think it's different. I don't know. So what do you think?
Lita, do you want to? You
Yeah,
want to go?
Lita could take it 1st. Hmm.
What do I think about dating now versus 80s and 90s?
Well, just well, just in general. What if yeah, you could do that too, because you have you're a little bit. You started dating probably before I did because we're about 10 years apart. But what is it now in this modern era for you versus you could go back to then if it changed. If you could tell the audience about the way it's different now. Maybe we were less conscious then, so we thought we were having a good time. I don't know.
I would say back in the day, I guess I just how should I put it? I didn't pay attention to a lot of stuff and a lot of people. Like I was just kind of picky when it comes to dating, kind of like this is live, right? So um I don't know what else to say.
All the way live. Okay, so I asked so what have your experience been in this new age dating? Because it's way different, you know.
The new age dating, it's just kind of a lot for me. Like it's just kind of weird cuz I don't let a lot of people in my life. Like I'm real picky about that part. And really in the past I just been, cuz I have 4 children. I just been raising children. 2 are like grown now, so and so that was, and then when I was raising my children, I was married most of the time. So I just didn't like people, like right now people are just real weird. So I kind of just stick to one
Yeah, I hear
person.
you. So you didn't have all of this plethora of dating experiences when you were younger. Or
Yeah,
is
when I
it,
was
yeah.
younger, even now it's just like too much because I feel like it's nothing wrong with like getting to know people and stuff, but I feel like when it comes to like intimacy and stuff, like it's just a lot going on with people, and
Hmm.
sometimes
Facts.
you just don't know, and sometimes I just don't even want to take the time. It's
To
just
go through all
too
of those
much.
things.
Yeah.
So would you get married again?
Um, I don't know if I really believe in that like that. I
Yeah, I hear
believe
you.
in divine partnership.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe some people might be like, "Well, that's the same thing." Well, yeah, it kind of is, but I just more so
Without the
believe in,
paperwork, you mean?
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And to me, nothing's wrong with that. To me, I mean, I feel like that's the route that I would be going.
Well, we are the Pluto generation. Well, I know like at some point in Gen X, it becomes Plutonian, and then the next is Uranian era, and that means that most of us sit in the house of Libra. This is a generational placement, not in our personal houses, which means the relationships that we have even when we were younger, they began to change. The way, we used to see people still married and stuff, but in the 80s, a lot of people went through divorces. It was a whole, a lot that we still got to see both sides of things. But we were supposed to be here with that Pluto energy to redefine the way we relate in relationships. That's why the partnerships have been so hard for a lot of us, depending on what other placements that we have. Um, and I'm gonna just say for me, and then I'll pass it to Ant. Um, for me to date, it would have to be somebody that is divinely in my, radius, because I am a loner and stuff like that. Um, and I'm a little I stopped dating at like in my 30 when I was 30 on a diet, or maybe even before that, because it was the busy hands for me. I feel like I'm always trying to protect my space, and it's this like they're violating or doing too much, and then they give so little to do so much. I'm just saying. So that's kind of what I was running into a lot of in that stage, especially when you're young, because a lot of younger men may not be ready to settle down yet, or just whatever. So I just chose for myself. I stopped wearing high heel shoes at 30, and I stopped dating at 30. I stopped both of those at the same time. So, and that's it. So, oh, and would I get married again? I was married. I was married kind of young. Um, I guess as young, like 20, 22, 23. And it was kind of a short marriage. But I would get married again if the situation was right. And then that goes to our next question, but I'm gonna pass it to Ant. Are you in a dating, how do you feel? Are you in a dating field? Are you just kind of doing your thing? And if you just meet that divine partner, that's it? Or where are you with it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. If I meet that divine partner, but I'm not dating. I'm not really looking. I tried to talk to somebody like a year ago, and that didn't pan out. It was like, nah, that wasn't it. And I'm like me, I'm alone in myself, right? And I keep my circle small. So, when I meet somebody, they really got to click with me. Um, and I'm not in the I'm not one of those people that just be dating just to date, just to be with somebody. I don't want
Mm.
that. I want to be with somebody. It's somebody that I want to be with and they want to be with me.
Mm. So, what is your biggest things you run into and would make you would even want to pull back in the dating world? What have you experienced with some of the ladies, maybe our dating experiences, or maybe things you've witnessed in the modern dating, or
Um, Past relationship baggage, you know,
baggage?
it's the baggage, what they went through is it's always something that's going to come up. And it's like, I think that all men, we have certain traits in common, right? We have certain traits in common. And she might have been with a dude, and I might not have his bad traits, but I might have similar traits to him. And because I got those similar traits to him, she gonna think about those bad traits that he had and put them on me. That makes sense? You understand what I'm
It
saying?
makes a lot of sense. I understand. One man can make one woman hate on you, like
Right.
R. Kelly say. So you guys, that's powerful though. What about that, ladies? Baggage. How is that fair? Because I know we do kind of come down on the men sometime, but is how do we is baggage a deal? Like, and how do we deal with that? Like, we have to deal with our own baggage. Obviously, it goes back to accountability, but is that fair for in the man's world though? Because a lot of women do have bags, so not that men don't. Okay, do y'all think men have baggage too?
Absolutely. I think every human being has baggage to unpack. Every
That's
human.
facts. That's facts. I think is it that women maybe are more willing to express the baggage is why it becomes problematic in relationships?
I'm not at that stage. I carry mine.
Okay, come on, queen, come through. Okay.
And I don't want to put my yours on mine. You know what I mean? Like
I
it.
hear you. She says she's healed. She's a healed queen. She don't have those issues. What about you, Lita? You have anything to add to the baggage?
Um, w- like like what again?
Girl, I'm talking about do you I'm gonna just say mine. um what I do realize, and I've made that mistake, when I do get close, because I don't let many get close to me either, but when I did, it's treating my boyfriend my husband like my therapist, and that's just not it. Sometimes we feel like we can unload on the people because that's the ones that are closest to you, but I do know, just even, and it don't even have to be baggage, it could just be day-to-day stuff you're dealing with, but it could just be a lot. And so what I was asking was, how do you deal with baggage? She like, I didn't hear that. If you want to say pass, that's fine, and we can get into, because we're gonna
Um,
do a part two. So if there's anybody that want to come to the part two, because we could get into the meat of things, because I don't want to keep you guys too long. You know what I mean? So we got time to kind of just build a little on some other things real quickly.
how I deal with baggage is for me, because I feel like everybody kind of has it, but for
Absolutely.
me, I try to keep my baggage to myself and work on it myself, the things I need to work on without putting it on the other person. That could be good and bad because sometimes I don't express a lot, but as you know, I expressed a lot to, to you
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
But but I usually like when it comes to like guys and stuff, like I usually just kind of keep my baggage like over here. And
Yeah,
then
I
if
hear you.
yeah,
Now, but
something comes up, I'm willing to communicate about it. But I find that a lot of people, their communication skills are not really like what they should be. And I like to communicate. I like to get it straight. Look, we doing this or that. That's it. No
mhm,
simple. I don't have to talk about it all month. Just what we gonna do. We gonna do this or that or that. But
mhm.
sometimes I kind of feel like the communication be lacking, and then baggage comes up, and then people don't want to talk about it.
Okay, I got a question for everybody. What's the difference between baggage and triggers? Starting with you, Aunt.
So, yeah, while I was listening to, the ladies speak, I was thinking about that myself. Like when I was talking about baggage, I might have meant to say triggers. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like the ba- the baggage that I'm talking about is stuff that she went through with the man in the last relationship, putting it on me, not so much like, you know, her personal stuff and,
No, I know
having
what
me
you
as
mean. Just baggage is
therapist.
baggage, just baggage.
Right.
But
Okay.
what I'm saying is like, say you don't think you got baggage. So,
Oh,
is there a difference
I
between
mean,
a
yeah, I
trigger?
think that yeah, I think that we all have baggage. You know what I'm saying? That we all do, because I mean, we live a life and we pick up shit on the way. You know what I'm saying? Um,
I like that. Yeah.
triggers. I think the triggers is a shit that pops the bag open. You
Oh, I
know what I'm
like that.
saying?
I like that. I
It's
like
like you say or you do something that that makes the person spill the baggage, basically.
that's facts. Yeah, and I guess we won't know that until, it happens if we're unhealed. So I have one more question as to how important is the relationship? Because it's getting, what do you guys think? They got these new things out now called manosphere. We got people like the Queen Maker, Priscilla, the Queen Maker. She's shaking it up in the woman sphere, I guess you would call it. And then we hear what's going on in the manosphere. Uh, it's not just Kevin Samuel, because white men have it. They got the red pill, I think it's called. And we got Kevin Samuel spearheading in the black community until he passed away. RIP to Kevin Samuel. But a lot of that is what, it's kind of bringing up issues that women didn't know that men had with them, and vice versa. It's like, wow, so um since we've gotten into this place, and I don't know if you guys even familiar with, I know y'all probably are with Kevin Samuel, but just that space of us bashing each other and things like that. Is it even important to heal, or will people just kind of, I mean, not heal, but heal between ourselves? I know we got to do our individual healing, but is that even a thing? I mean, relationships, I know we're getting into a different stage of life. We're getting older, but I know there's so many, the youth behind us, people that may be listening that's younger and things like that. And if we're going to do anything, even if we never get married again, at least have some wisdom to leave behind to those that come after us. So is it important for us to continue to push in a direction of trying to understand each other? Ayana?
Absolutely. I think we should always try to. Everybody has different perspectives. People grow up differently. People's their experiences are different, and they take them differently. And I feel like we're all on this journey, and certain things just kind of happen to you, and you have to work through it, on a individual basis, or if you choose to have a partner or whatnot. You always have to work through things.
Oh, and what about you, Lita? If you don't have anything to say about like the certain one, you could pass it and I'll go to the next question.
I definitely feel like it's important to heal our relationships, definitely as a race. Um, I feel like for me personally, I just try to meet people where they are, if that's possible. Because some people aren't ready to give certain things, talk about certain things, as long as it's not detrimental or um, what do you call that word? Uh, it skips my mind, but as long as it's not detrimental or hurting or anything like that, I just try to meet people where they are.
And the same for you, Aunt? You kind of like on that same, or how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I feel um like even with healing, right? It's not always pretty. It's not always sometimes it can be painful. You know what I'm saying? And because we gotta, we gotta look at ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the whole accountability thing comes in. We gotta have these conversations. They don't have to be um, brutal or mean or anything like that, but we got to be willing to listen, and to be able to, you know, to really, just listen and try to gain understanding.
I agree. And now they say to women, we're the natural healers, and I know men have healing energy as well. And I just want to give a shout out to whoever's watching the live. I can't see your comments unless you're on Calligraphy TV. However, please, you know, any comments, things you'd like to add or to the build, and I will answer all of your questions. Or if it's addressed to someone else, the same thing, we'll get the answer for you. And thank you guys for tapping in. For those who will be tapped in later. Um, this is a question I have because vulnerability is a big thing too in the relationships of the inability. Even women, we have some women like Lita mentioned she's guarded, or there's so much of that sometimes it's hard to be vulnerable to other people. You know, but if can we all admit what even what Aunt said though, because certain things are systemic, not just because of it is slavery, but I'm saying also just systemic in the programming of possibly our parents, our experiences, to the fact that a lot of us, like you said, everybody got baggage. So how much grace? If you met a man right now that say, "Hey, I'm a little crazy," no, I'm only kidding, but if he said, "I have issues," you know, and I want to work through those issues. And or the woman says, I have issues. I mean, how much grace, especially if we were like, just starting off, well, it don't even matter at what stage, how much grace do we give each other?
It
Because
would depend. Oh, sorry.
no, I was just gonna say how much grace, like, I guess it depends on the level
The
of
issue.
I cut my camera off because I'm about to laugh. Okay, so I'm gonna let you take that. You said it just depends on just the level, because there's levels to it, or
I did it. I feel like it depends on what the issue is. Yeah.
what about you, Ayana? Because we know we didn't had some crazies, but not willing to work on it though. That's the problem, the ones in denial about it. What do you say, Ayana, if someone came to you and said, "Hey, baby, I'm a good man. I make, the money. I want to support you. I love what you do. You're beautiful. But, sometimes I already know how you feel. The temper issues. Yeah. Stuff like that or whatever it is. How much grace do we give each other?"
Well, I think it just depends. It just, there's levels to it, so it just,
What's a deal breaker for you? Is it slamming things, punching the wall, um, crying? Is a man okay to cry, or is that, how do you feel about a male crying?
completely get it out, better out than in. Yeah,
Totally.
someone
Hmm.
or whatnot, or expressing emotions, but are they doing it in a respectful manner? Are they doing
Right.
because they're hurt, or are they doing it because they're trying to hurt you? Or
Right. Great point. Wow. Yeah. Are they hurting the kids or just whatever? That's deep. Yeah. Is it because of substance abuse? I guess a lot of factors could play into that. So what about you, Aunt Scorpio King? We know Scorpios do not play. So what is your threshold? But you guys are some of the most non-judgmental of the zodiac. A lot of people don't know that. Scorpios are very your son is a Scorpio. They have a lot of compassion, and they understand humans at deep levels, depths. So they damn near psychic. We have a whole psychic panel here right now, actually. So, what do you think of that, though, Ant? On
Yeah, because I mean we're observant, you know what I'm saying? And like I'm basically that same way, you know. I'm gonna give you grace. I want to see how sincere you are. You know what I'm saying? And and I just go from there. If I don't feel like you're sincere, and because if you say you're working through stuff, I'm like, okay, I'm here for you. You know what I'm saying? But if you're not, allowing me to pour into you and help you out, and you're not, really showing any kind of real,
progress?
progress, then yeah,
Man,
that's
that's
it.
cool. Wow, that's big, Ant. Wow. Like, how many times do you break it? You know what? Like my godmother used to tell me when I was with a toxic man, if the person keeps telling you they're gonna stop something, or they know it's something that disrespects you, dishonors you, and they do it again, that means the apology wasn't real, the effort isn't real. So that is a big thing, the how many times, that's part of the grace though, like the grace period, if it's 2 times, 3 times or whatever, but it just comes
Right.
to a time where, do you really mean it? And if they don't, then it's manipulation pretty much, you know
Yeah. Yeah. And
yeah.
I think for us men, we we fall victim to the manipulation. You know what I'm saying? A lot more easier than women do.
Hmm.
And we just gotta find it, find that point where we're like, okay, this is it, you know. And I think that sometimes that's the hard part. But
Mm, yeah,
yeah.
I kind of agree with that, and I don't know if the other ladies do. Do y'all know what he mean by that? That men fall more for the manipulation than ladies do.
Mm, not sure.
Okay, I would like to deal with that. What about you, Ayana?
So can you pose the question again?
He just basically said that men normally fall for the manipulation. Like when we talking about I'll do better and stuff, before a man would. Oh, man fall for it before the woman would. The thing with that to me is it depends on the man. Like if he got a tender heart, a lot of times, ladies, especially as emotional, if you're an emotional lady, we know that we can cry or do little things that'll have him soften his heart. We know we shouldn't have did that, and oh baby, I didn't mean to spend all the money or whatever it is. But for some ladies, that's like that. I'm just speaking. I don't know, whatever it is, and sometimes they'll feel bad. You might have had a little moment. Went a little off. I don't know. Every woman is different, but I'm saying that is more common when she'll put the little tear. Like think of Duchess on Black Ink. She got that guy just wrapped, man. Like Caesar, I don't know if anybody ever seen Black Ink and witnessed Duchess and her behavior, but she know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it don't matter what Duchess say, she's gonna flip it around and then he gonna be right there on her finger. So women know they can. A lot of time though, to me, men can also be once they done. Like you be trying to reverse it around, and sometimes it's not that way. And a woman is the same in that sense. What do you think? What's your rebuttal, or what do you say on that, Ayana? or
I don't know because I'm not a man, so I can't view it from a man.
no, I mean your experience as far as
I know that women can be very manipulative, even amongst us. You
yeah,
can be very manipulative.
like
I person.
sometimes we can, bat those pretty eyes and be like, baby, I need a little my tire, my car or whatever it is. Sometime in, in that those feminine wiles or something. But do you think that I know you guys are tired, y'all all been working and stuff like that. So we're not gonna stretch it too long. Cause that's why we're gonna do a part two, okay? And we can do it, we can flip the days if y'all need to, but no, Thursdays are good, right? Thursdays are good. Whoever comes on, I don't know who's gonna be on, but if you're out there listening. So oh, what was I gonna say? On the manipulative part. Do you think that I don't know, everybody's situation is different. Do you think men put us in masculine positions by some of the energy that they carry that could be manipulative?
I
Right.
think so. Depending on the man and what's happening at the moment in the relationship or whatever partnership or even friendship. Um, I think they do sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And you can say pass if you want, or you can answer it.
Um, I would say that that's true for some men. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? If the opportunity is there, they definitely do that. Take advantage of it. You know.
Mm. And should a woman, as a man, I know they call us masculine and certain things with black women, but do you think we should defend ourselves if we were in a hostile environment or situation?
You mean like hostile physically?
Yes, if that should a woman, because they always say that women are, oh, they this and they that. I don't mean just yelling and provoking, but if there's a situation that arises, you know, some people say just call the police. But if it's a
Right.
volatile situation, is that her being masculine or just self-preservation?
Oof. Um, I think that if you know if it's situation where it's self-preservation, yeah, then definitely, you know. But if it's not that, if it's a situation where she can walk away from, you know, without it escalating, then the best thing to do is to leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, why
Okay,
would you stay
ladies.
in a
Yeah,
situation
I'm
like that?
sorry. Yeah, that because it may not end well. And just real quick, same with you, ladies. Leader, should a woman protect herself if in a volatile situation with a man, even if it puts her in her masculine energy?
I would feel like if the man is not doing it and she has no other choice, me, I don't like to fight. So I would probably just try to get out of the situation because to me it's
Hmm.
just not that serious.
Yeah, I don't
Now if
want to
you
fight either. I'm
now
good.
if you attack me, I mean, I might try to kill you.
That
That
part.
that's a
That
different
part.
story. But no,
Yeah.
I feel like you should let the man handle that. And this is unless there's no man around or
No, I
unless
mean
there's
your
no
man. If your man is
oh
putting you in a volatile situation, I would say women shouldn't raise their voice or women shouldn't do whatever. Y'all are being masculine or just whatever. But if you're in a position where you feel threatened, is do you
by
think it's okay?
by him or just by somebody
Him. If
other.
he's in your face and you know you're the woman, right? Is that something you're supposed to deal with, or and he's like you feel
Oh, I
threatened?
don't even attract them types.
I hear you. So for another woman, should she defend herself or call the police? I don't either.
She should try to leave
Try
or
to leave.
call the police. I would
Hmm.
just get up and before because sometimes you can feel it going there.
Exactly. And how much are we contributing to it? Like Aunt said, if we can see it escalating, once I see it to that point, I'm out. We could just go in another room or just let's not go there.
It's
Um,
just yeah, to me it's not worth it because what if the man snap? What if you snap and kill him? I
that
mean, what,
part.
you gonna go to jail? I mean,
Not and now y'all know young girls do listen to my lives, and that's why I said that. None of us are attracting that because we're choosing to attract those that honor us especially at this stage in the game. You should not be at the age we are talking about, oh yeah, I'm still, and I'm not making fun of no women because sometimes it takes longer to get out. But being that we've been there and done, relationships, who's going, well, no one wants to get into anything like that at this stage in the game,
mm,
and if anyone is, please get the help you need if whoever's watching out there. And the
that's just
same
too
with
much
men. They got
energy.
some men that's with Rasputia right now. I'm just saying. So, Ayana, what do you feel about that?
Well, sometimes you're just, it just depends on the scenario and the situation and people,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know, if you're with a partner, you know how volatile that they can get, so hopefully you can de-escalate that situation. But if you can't, then absolutely walk away. And
Yeah,
it does escalate, like,
you got to do what you got to do.
you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I've seen, on television, this football player threw his girl across the room like she was nothing. What can a woman do about that?
Right. That's why Aunt said probably not get into that entanglement because some women they can provoke men as well. You
And
know.
social media, a woman slapping the heck out of her boyfriend and her boyfriend not doing anything, like,
Right. That woman that was punching the guy on I seen going viral too, and he just sat there and took it. That's madness to me. I don't even fight in relationships, period. Once the fighting starts, the respect is lost for me and on both ends. So what I tell a man is, even if I lose it and I hit you, it's still over for me. Because if I had to get to that level of hitting you, we don't. It's something off right in that situation. So I'll just close on this because I know you guys are tired, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad you guys came right in. This late where Ann is. He's in Atlanta. So we're gonna do a part two. You guys who are watching, I don't know who's gonna all be on the panel. They want to come back. If Ava want to join us, so be it. I'm gonna spike the questions up. If y'all have questions y'all like to add, just put them in my inbox. But on this last note, I know it's not an easy solution, but what would you say? What do you have any questions for me first? If not, what's the solution? What's one solution that we could do to where we are now that could get us back in a little bit in balance, whether it's therapy or just whatever. What can we do? Because it's a lot of craziness in the community.
I think it kind of circle back to that, being accountable and
Hmm.
self-aware.
Absolutely, I agree. Accountability, okay. And Lita.
I think people should try to take responsibility for their own healing. Like nobody else can do it. You can do it. You know yourself best.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, yeah, people should be truthful, honest, and communicate.
Okay, and Aunt, what about you?
Yeah, I'm with everybody else on accountability, but I'd
Yeah,
also think that it takes, um, discourse, conversation. It's kind of like what we're doing right here.
for sure.
When you look at a lot of podcasts that's about relationships, it's usually one side against the other. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? And it's not really like a real dialogue. I think that is,
Right.
so many people that have different experiences, and if people can just hear, if women can hear men speaking from their different point of views, and men hearing women speaking from their different point of views, you know, and everybody's able to just pay attention, and just see that reflection of that in them and themselves, you know, and they can learn and grow from that.
Ashe, that's powerful, and that's why this is not. I'm gonna stop it soon because it's so much to unpack. We're just breaking, the barrier, and they got other people that may come on the panel that have totally different experiences. Take the panel somewhere totally different, but we are going to continue the conversation. Um, and on closing, there was something else I wanted to say, but I can't remember. Do you guys have anything y'all want to close on, one by one, and then we can, if I think of it, I'll, say it. But other than that, is there anything you guys want to close on? Tell people how they can find you if you want to be found, and so forth.
Well, I
Lita,
could be found
Black
on
Esmeralda. Mm-hmm.
I could be found on. There's a story behind that name too, but maybe I'll tell y'all that another time. But I could be found on Instagram, Herbal Roots Wellness,
Mm-hmm.
Roots with the Z, and this
Okay.
same on TikTok.
Herbal Roots Wellness. Okay, cool. And like I said, check out her brand, fashion, her potions, tonics, healing stuff. She's awesome. And yes, that's my sister. And now Yana, anything you want to say on closing or add or you know?
No, I'm just happy to be a part of the panel and happy that we can have this discussion. And hopefully, for part two, we can have a little bit more males and females to have, different perspectives. And
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely have more male energy on the next bill we do. And that would be great, just to kind of bounce off of each other and stuff like that. But it is a big subject. And there's a lot of pain. So I know it's not so black and white. None of us don't really want to be cat ladies, but hell, we don't really want to be cat ladies and cat daddies. But anything you'd like to say on closing, Aunt?
Um, well, y'all can find me at Smith 111 on Facebook, and on my profile, there's all my links. So, you can find out more about me from there, what I do, my artwork, and just other stuff that I'm into.
And I want to just turn Ann up right quick too. This brother is a brilliant artist. He does he works with murals, but he also do, if you need some branding or some type of, like for me, I may get with him on some candle labels, something. Um, do you do stickers and stuff too? I don't know what all you do, but y'all tap in with Ant on that art.
Well, yeah, I do. I do everything. I don't do the murals as much
Not
anymore.
as not
You know,
anymore. Okay, you
nah.
doing more
But
of the personal things for the people.
yeah, I do like paintings, and then I do graphic design, like the whole shebang on graphic design.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna definitely be reaching out to you because I'm rolling out Black Girl Magic again, but I want to come out with a some more different thing too, and just see what we can come up with together. But I want to thank everybody for being here, everyone's presence. Thank y'all so much. I say love and light, and we're gonna continue this discourse next week. And if you guys want to be on the show next week, just tap into the inbox, and then that way I'll know what my lineup is because I can have up to 8 people. Okay. So we'll mix it up more next week. Yeah.
Okay, thank you
You know
for
what it
having
was?
me.
The younger, okay, you're welcome, Lee. It was the Black Esmeralda, the Black Esmeralda. The younger people are the ones that didn't show tonight. So that's gonna be what puts, and I think that's good because we're setting the kind of the stage for things, and then they'll come in with all their experiences too. So I think that'll be great. And maybe Ava will be ready next time too. Shout out to Miss Ava, you know. And yeah, you guys share the live too, okay? So everybody can see y'all making y'all star appearance. Anyway, peace, love, and light.
All right, peace.
Peace, everyone.
Peace.